Hey listeners, before we get to the episode, we want to take a moment to address the June 24th Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. This decision stripped away the legal right to have a safe and legal abortion. Restricting access to comprehensive reproductive care, including abortion, threatens the health and independence of all Americans and others should other countries do this too. This decision could also lead to the loss of other rights. To learn more about what you can do to help, go to choice.crd.co. We encourage you to speak up, take care, and spread the word. Thank you.
Hello friends, my name is Dane Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain. And we're your fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and we turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we are a sex and dating advice podcast where we answer questions that we either find online or are sent in by our wonderful listeners such as yourself. And special welcome to everybody joining us after meeting us at Fan Expo.
Well, we did do that last week too.
Yeah, but now we mean it because we actually have been to Fan Expo.
We actually went to Fan Expo, yeah. Last time we were being sneaky and playing with time the way that podcasters do.
We were capoeiring it a little bit. Special also double thanks for the people that came out to see us. You know who you are. And you actually made our fucking day. So we really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
And I want to apologize personally to a special someone that I didn't get a chance to really chat with you as much as I wanted to. It was a lot. I was overwhelmed pretty much the entire weekend. There was a lot going on.
Pretty big crowd a lot of the time, which again was awesome. We were representing both ourselves and No Quest for the Wicked. We had set up a fun little dice game, so at best one of us was free. And luckily, when I was talking to this wonderful person, Dane unfortunately was busy dicing it up. But yeah, you literally made our weekend, so thank you very much.
Yeah, it was super cool. That being said, I really wanted to, you did something last week where you're like award nominated. I really want to work that into our intro now. We're an award-nominated sex and dating advice podcast. I like that. That sounds good. Because
this is a bad time to change it because I think very soon, hopefully, we'll be award-winning.
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, all of them. You ready for a question?
Yeah.
I'm going to hop right in with this jam. This is by Riken Guy. Do women care that you've slept with a MILF before?
Okay. Is there any more details, or is that just...
Oh, don't worry, there's more, and it's necessary. Okay. How has anyone not asked this question? With all caring about how many bodies you've had and stuff like that, does the quality of women you've had as a man carry over to other women?
No, is that it?
That is it.
Okay. First and foremost, what does being a MILF have anything to do with the quality of woman? Are we being ageist here and assuming that MILF is synonymous with older woman, which isn't the case? I could sleep with someone who's younger than me and they could still be a MILF, right? Like MILF, if you want to talk about older women, I guess the term would be cougar, but I don't know about that one either. Regardless, being a MILF, the acronym is Mother I Would Like to Fuck. It just means that you wanted to fuck them.
Yeah,
therefore,
there's no quality implied other than the fact that you want to fuck them, which presumably is pretty high.
A pretty good quality. Yeah. So, I mean, if we want to really break down societal standards and norms and shit like that, it's like, yes, I think if someone found out that you were just sleeping with anyone and anything that you could, I think that would upset people. Or not upset, but I think there would be a certain level of judgment on you if they found out that you had slept with people you weren't necessarily attracted to or had no chemistry with, but just because you had the opportunity to, you did. I think that would reflect poorly on you, and not because you're sleeping with quote unquote someone ugly or a low quality woman, whatever the fuck that is. I think it's more the fact that you didn't really set any standards for yourself, whatever those standards may be, and you were just having sex for the sake of having sex, and that seems
implied like desperation and sadness in a way. So it's like, yes, people could judge that, but I don't think that's what they're asking here. So do women care that you've slept with a MILF before?
But I think that is what they're asking. I think they're just in a weird way that like MILF equals bad, and
Well,
therefore
the thing is, maybe they think MILF is good. And that's why he's like, does the quality of women? Maybe he's just all about those MILFs. And he's like, because I got like a shiny first edition because I slept with a MILF.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Either way, I don't think we like, regardless of whether people do or don't, and I can't tell you that because everyone will react differently to the news of your cool MILF sex. Mm-hmm. But I think like we need to stop imagining that like or treating sexual pasts and histories with sort of like a judgment call on the person, because you don't know who or what that person was like prior to who you've met now. And, you know, I'm sure someone could look at my sexual history and think less of me without knowing sort of my situation and my headspace. And you know what I mean? Like I slept with a lot of people, usually on first dates, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that was because I was actively chasing validation through sex with strangers. So like, I know that, and I've worked on that, and I've remedied that part of my person. So I think with this, it is something that we need to be conscious of, and him being like, is it either going to be more impressive or less impressive, really shouldn't have any bearing on who you are as a person and how you approach future sexual partners.
Look, the question is, do women care? No one can answer that because women aren't a monolith, right?
Yeah.
Every person, man, women, anything else, they're obviously going to be fucking different than the next person, right? So it's like some people are very jealous and some people will get very upset you've slept with anybody. Other people will be very chill and won't care who you've slept with. And then there's a realm of people in between. So do women care that you slept with a MILF? It's impossible to answer. Some will, some won't. And that is just personal ability to deal with jealousy or judgment. Should they care? Probably not. Does the quality of women you've had as a man carry over to other women? I don't even really know what that sentence means, and it's pretty fucked up because like this weird like assigning of quality to women icks me out massively.
100%. Yeah.
And I think you raised kind of the only, I think, acceptable reason for people to be upset is like, you know, if someone's like going through your sexual history and judging them based on various things, that they probably are a shitty person. But if it turns out that you have just had sex with in every situation that you can purely because sex is important to you, not your satisfaction, your infatuation with someone, the situation, you know, et cetera, et cetera. If you're just having sex for the sake of having sex, then yeah, maybe they'll judge you a little bit based on like desperation or having like this weird overbearing attitude towards or like overcompensation or overimportance of sex. But like that's a different thing, and that's not to do with the women you've slept with.
I think there's like two situations, right? Like if I started sleeping with someone and then I saw a picture of their ex who I didn't find quite attractive or thought, you know, wasn't that attractive, I think I would be in the wrong if I was like, oh, you fucked him? Gross.
Yeah.
Right? But I think the flip side of that would be if you were like, oh, I slept with all those people, but they were ugly. I would be like, that's a kind of shitty thing to say because you did sleep with them, right? Exactly. Like, I think it all depends on like how that information is being presented and how both of you process it.
Mm-hmm. And I think like there could be times where like you find out somebody was sleeping with someone and that person is a terrible person and you might be like, oof. And I think that's a different situation where like if you have personal knowledge of someone and they are shitty, like maybe you could then judge someone in a way. But again, it's kind of not your place. I think in general, stop assigning fucking quality to women in this creepy way you're implying. And two, no, it doesn't matter. And it shouldn't. And yes, some people are going to be upset about the number of people you've slept with, but that we deal with in other questions.
Yep, absolutely.
So overall, I guess no.
This comes from iTech. I'm not sure. It's a bunch of letters and numbers that I think spell a word, but I couldn't decipher it. A girl sent me a pic of her blowing another guy. A girl I'm casually dating, we're not a couple, likes to send me dirty pictures. She takes erotic photography as a hobby sometimes, and hey, I'm not going to complain. Anyways, she sent me one a couple days ago of her blowing another guy and another one with cum all over her face. And it absolutely has killed my sexual attraction for her since, which, by the way, I had a lot of sexual attraction for her before. It was some guy from the past, not since we've been seeing each other. And she was doing it to be sexy, just dirty photos, you know. But it was such a turnoff for me. Her and I get along great. We're very compatible sexually and otherwise. I basically just said, that it was a turnoff for me, didn't make a big deal about it, and moved past it. She apologized and sent me a different dirty picture instead as a sorry. But in all honesty, I'm having a really hard time with it. I'm cool with her having partners in the past. We're both human. I try not to be judgmental. Besides, I'd be a total hypocrite. But it's like, I don't want to see that because now that's how I see her. When I think of her sexually, I think of her with that dude's dick in her mouth and cum all over her face, and it's just gross. Am I being ridiculous, or are these feelings pretty based? Her and I are not serious at the moment. She's not my girlfriend, and she didn't do it to bother me. Part of me feels guilty, and a part of me wants to walk. But at the same time, she's a pretty great partner, and it feels like a waste to throw it away. Because I do feel like things will become more serious if I allow it. Should I cut the cord, or should I just give it some time and try to move past it? I feel conflicted, and I guess I just need some advice. By the way, I'm male 30 and she's female 28, if that's relevant.
I think it's a bold move to include other people's genitalia in the sexy pictures you're sending to somebody. But in this situation, I think there's a pretty fucked up level of like either misogyny or like lack of self-confidence that like to see somebody in this way has like devalued them so fully for you. You know what I mean? That like that's all she is to me, and that's all I see is some dude's dick in her mouth. And that's like, you know, this guy is talking a big game about how like, oh, you know, she's partners in the past, I'm not like that, blah 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 blah. But like that's kind of what this is. And it's like, I understand not wanting to get those pictures and maybe not appreciating them. That's fine. It was a bold move. But like, one, it's not someone she's currently sleeping with, and even if it was, well, I think that would make it a little bit different if it was like, oh, I'm currently blowing this dude. Mm-hmm. The fact that they came from before, again, I don't know if it was the smartest move, but it seems like this person is very sexually free. She takes erotic photography, so maybe in her mind it means a lot less than maybe someone who's less adventurous or used to that side of things. I could understand the hiccup, and she, you know, moved on from it. But like, I think it's something really problematic to just be like, she's ruined herself for me, and now she's like, you know, that's all I can think of, and blah blah blah.
I 100% understand what you're saying, but I also like understand this guy's point of view of being like, you know, that's a pretty bold image to send, and a very visceral image to sort of like unsee. I agree that what you're saying of being like, the fact that you've seen this picture shouldn't make you think less of her. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That tracks for sure. And I think there's two conversations we need to have. And I think the first one is what you're talking about here, how, you know, the second that you are faced with the reality of this woman having past sexual partners and past sexual experiences is enough for you to be like, but hold on, wait a minute, she's my sexual partner. Mm-hmm. And throw you completely for a loop. But I think there's also something to be said about sending sexy pictures still requires a level of consent and communication about what's being sent, right? Like,
well, for this person in question, it's kind of fucked that his dick is now on someone else's phone, because I doubt she got consent off him.
So yeah, that's kind of a twofold prong of like what my point is here is of one, you know, you don't send unsolicited dick pics to people, or at least you shouldn't. We can all agree that like, hey, that sucks. And it's different when you're in a sexual relationship, but still, even someone I've been sleeping with for a long time, I wouldn't just be like, bloop, there's my dick. Yeah. It would have to be, you know, it would either have to be asked for or teased about, or, you know, something would have to prompt me to send that picture before I did it. And then there's also like a level of knowing what's acceptable and knowing what most people probably wouldn't want to see. I think it's just safe to assume that most people don't want to see the person they're sleeping with fucking another person unless voyeurism or, you know, shared partners is a thing that you've already discussed and are cool with. But to just assume that like, hey, you know what this person probably wants to see? Someone else's dick in my mouth. And I think that was a bad call.
Oh, 100%. I think it was definitely a misstep, and I think we can all agree that a pretty solid rule of thumb when sending a naked photo or video or anything of that sort is like, don't include other people in it, both for their sake and the person you're sending it to. And on top of that, it's like, you know, I think even simple shit such as like, if you took it for some reason in an old partner's bedroom, right? And this person gets it and they know that's not your room, they know it's not their room, they're still going to be like, It's one of those things where if you're smart, you will just make sure it's a clean cut image that doesn't prop up any questions, because the last thing you want to do when you're sending something that's meant to be sexy is muddying the water and ruining the mood, right?
Yeah.
And that's not to say there's anything wrong with taking a picture in somebody else's fucking bedroom or whatever, but I think it's common sense to, if you're trying to get a sexy reaction out of somebody, you want them that to go off without a hitch. You know what I mean? You don't want them then pondering, oh, wait, when was this picture taken? Are they in that room right now? Like, that's kind of awkward. So I definitely agree. I think this person fucked up. I think it was not a smart idea sending this picture. Again, it's one of those things where, like Dane said, like dick pics, it needs to be discussed beforehand. You know what I mean? If your partner's cool with that, by all means, go ahead. But I don't think it's something you can assume.
I had someone I was sleeping with who requested me to finish on her face and then was like, hey, are you cool if we take a picture because someone else I'm sleeping with really likes to see those pictures? And I was like, look, if they're cool with it, yeah, absolutely. Give me your phone. But I was like, it's we talked about it beforehand. It wasn't sprung on me in the moment. Like in the moment, we had talked about it prior to. And again, it's up to her whether or not she was telling me the truth, or you know what I mean? Like if a partner actually wanted to see these, or if they just wanted pictures for themselves, whatever. But like that's kind of the conversation you need to have, of being like, if you have these pictures, being like, hey, I know you enjoy these sexy pictures of me. Are you interested in this kind of stuff? Are you interested in seeing me do certain things? If not, that's fine. I won't send them. But you do need to, it's like, I think we can all agree, most guys, you probably don't need to get permission to send a picture of your boobs or, you know, a sexy, something like that. But I think there is, past the baseline level of sexy pictures, I think you do need to talk to your partner about what they're comfortable seeing and what they're comfortable being sent, and then go from there.
Yeah. So this person, I think, definitely made a miscalculation. Don't think it was the smartest move. And I'm hoping that they have prior permission from the person. You know, I'm not going to delve into that because we all know it could be very problematic if they didn't. Yeah. But is it like a cardinal sin? No, I don't think so. And I do think, you know what, I could understand him being like, you know what, it's kind of like if they were turned off a bit just because of this person being kind of dumb about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird to me that they didn't think about this and, like, they just kind of sent it, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, as we discussed, it's a bit weird. It's not exactly the best idea for them to have done that. But all the talk that they do in their post is all about them being, like, ruined or, like, stained or, like, you know what I mean? It's all very much like them as a person are now worthless because of this thing in a way. Like, all the language is kind of shitty.
Yeah. So here's what I would suggest, because the question, I guess, at the end of the day is, should I dip or should I try to work through it? And I think there's enough in here to make me believe that you do actually like this person and you enjoy spending time with this person. And I think the male ego has reared its ugly head, and it's kind of bruised your ego a little bit. And it's kind of like, you know, you're not used to being confronted with this in your face, and you're not really sure how to do it. And I think if you have a partner who seems to be as open sexually as this person is, and who is willing to send you pictures of her blowing other dudes and being ejaculated on, I think there's no harm in being like, hey, so that picture you sent me, you know, and laying out how you feel about it and talking about it from there. Because if, for all you know, she could be like, well, actually, I'm going to do this. I guess she did apologize. But like, if she's weird about you expressing her feelings about it, then it might not be worth hanging around. But if you,
sure, yeah. If she's just going to be like unapologetic, like this is who I am, this is what I'm like, fuck you, you know what I mean? Then yeah, not the partner for you. Now, I do want to hope that this person will get over some of the problematic views I think they have before they talk, because if they don't, I don't think it's going to be a fruitful talk. I think it'll come across very slut-shamey.
From my stance, I think that's a valuable lesson they need to learn as well.
True, right? But I would hope he could learn it with us.
Yes, absolutely, you know? Of course, yeah.
Like,
I would love
not upset someone and force them to teach him in this shitty position while hurting them. You know?
Yeah. If this happens, I think you need to take a real deep breath. I think he's almost there. Mm-hmm. Like he's on the fence and he's kind of teetering, but like the guard dog of like fragile masculinity is pulling at his pant leg because he was like, oh, it'd be hypocritical of me to be upset about this.
Exactly it. I think you need to take a minute and realize that what you're being upset about is hypocritical. You know what I mean? Like, take a second and be like, yes, I'm okay with these things in theory, but now I'm not having it in theory. I'm having it in practice. And yeah, again, no one's saying she did the right thing here. You can acknowledge that what she did was a bit overreaching and ill-advised, blah, 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 blah. And like, there's a certain level of like tact that she has definitely not, fulfilled. But thinking in this way of her being like permanently ruined because of what you've seen, and like now all you could see is her with some dude's dick, like that's really devaluing and like pretty fucked up, honestly.
Yeah. So I think like you just need to marry the concept of like what you're struggling with and what you've put into words of being like, I know she's had partners. I'm okay with that. And you need to just be like, okay, this is just another aspect of that, unfortunately I've been forced to confront with an actual photo, which, again, sucks. Mm-hmm. But then like, pull it over to the side that seems to be the rational side of your brain that you've already sort of like talked out to yourself of being like, look, I know this happens. I know she's had other partners. I'm not mad about that. She's allowed to have other partners, blah, 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 blah. Just be like, take that photo and kind of tuck it in between all of that and just be like, she's allowed to have other partners. I know she's had other partners. Photo goes in the middle there. Close the book and forget about it. And just be like, yes, that's it. She's allowed to do this. This is her. She made a mistake. I'm sure you will make a mistake at some point in time during this relationship. Move on and deal with it.
Yeah. Like you've laid out a bunch of reasons why you really like this person. And you're even saying that you think it'll go further if you let it, which is kind of weird. But it's like, if you want to, do you really want to throw it away just because she, again, I think in error, sent you a sexy photo? Obviously, she thought it would be hot. Maybe she's used to partners who are into that. Maybe she's just a little freaky.
And remember, she apologized and sent you another picture. Like, that's a big thing. I think we would be on a much different train if she sent it and you're like, oh, I don't like that, and then just kept sending them.
Yeah, or got weird about it or whatever. It's like, this is what we want men to do more in these situations where they're called out, is apologize, go back to positive behavior, and keep going forward in a good way. And it's like, she's done that. That's great.
Yeah, she was very, very gracious after the stumble.
Yeah, and I appreciate
that's all you can ask.
You brought it up too. Fair play to you. So take a breath. You're allowed to acknowledge that what she did was weird and maybe not a good call, but there's no value judgment on her for this past, and you shouldn't let the image of her doing something like taint her in your eyes. That's fucked. Mm-hmm. Let it marinate. Think about it critically, and you got this. This is by Poofy Pickle. 2 guys invited me on a date to the same concert, so I'm in a pickle. The guy said he was going to this concert with his grandfather, but his grandfather got hurt and can't go. So he asked me if I want to go with him to the concert. I said yes. Then a few hours later, a different guy asked me out on a date to the same concert. I said I was already going with a friend, and he told me he'd like to meet up with me while we're there, say hi and such. We've only been talking on a dating app and haven't met in person yet. I definitely don't want to say hello to the second guy when I'm on a date with the first, but I have no idea what to say to guy 2 in order to avoid meeting him. I don't want to lie to him. I'd definitely rather say I'm going on a date than make up an excuse not to meet him. But if there's a third option, one where I can say no without lying and without telling him on a date, I'd choose that one. Is that even possible here?
I mean, yeah, it's a very simple thing of being like, oh yeah, we'll see what happens. And then just never text him.
Now, we all know she's going to bump into him, right?
Because I mean, yes. Yeah, Murphy's Law for sure. Yeah. I don't think there's any harm in saying, you know what, I think the friend has asked me on a date, because you've already said friend, so you can't then be like, oh, I'm actually going on a date. So I think be like, oh, actually, I think this is going to be a date. So I don't know if it's super cool if we meet, a bit bad form, and just be like, but I would still love to like grab a drink with you next week or, whenever you're free.
Yeah, that's it. Nice and simple. And this has a multitude of like positives because 1, you're being honest. That's good. 2, if you bump into each other, which again, it's going to happen. Now they're going to know there won't be awkwardness. You know what I mean? Or at least on your behalf, you won't have to like pussyfoot on like who this person is and who this person is. You know what I mean? Like the other guy knows, hopefully he'll be chill. And that leads to positive number 3. If you bump into each other and he's not chill, great. You don't have to waste your time. And if you tell him you're on a date and he freaks out, you don't have to waste your time. If he's cool, green flag.
Yeah. Yeah. If he's like, oh yeah, no problems.
Yeah.
Like,
great.
Still want to grab a drink, then it's like, cool. You know that like you will be able to continue dating while seeing this person, and it's not going to be that big of a deal, presumably. So it's like, yeah, there's no harm in doing it, because presumably you want to go on a date with the first guy. So go on a date with the first guy and then sort of do a little vetting in the process of the second guy.
Now, we're terrible because we didn't answer the question. A way to not lie and not tell them you're going on a date. 2 outfits. keep going to the bathroom.
I mean, yes,
swap
we've already talked about this. Every chance you can Mrs. Doubtfire it, you Mrs. Doubtfire. You tell both of them that you're going on the date with them, and make sure they're on either side, and just keep ping-ponging back and forth. It's perfect. It's flawless. It's going to work like a charm until, you forget to take the wig off or whatever, and then you go back to and be like, hey, why are you wearing a wig? And, but like, yes, if you can Mrs. Doubtfire, life is too short not to Mrs. Doubtfire things.
If at any point what you're doing is the plot of like any kind of teen drama or,
sitcom episode.
Sitcom is the word I was looking for but could not remember. Then yes, you're doing things right.
Yeah, life is too short not to seize every possible sitcom opportunity, and I will die on that hill.
Yeah, 100%. Also, maybe he's lying, and maybe if you turn him down, he'll bring his granddad again. Maybe he was trying to ditch his granddad, and that's not cool.
Also, what concert are you going to that this granddad's going to? This sounds like a cool granddad.
Yeah, is this a really cool granddad, or is this a really boring guy? / other guy / you?
Yeah, I'd love to know what band this is.
For sure.
This comes from Reddit user Bean Shrimp.
Yeah, my favorite type of shrimp.
Men, serious question. Where does the dick meat go when y'all are soft? I am genuinely confused. My boyfriend has a 7-inch penis, and I see it soft at least once a day. Each time I see it's soft, it's a different size. There's sometimes where he's in a shower, and it's hanging there, and there's sometimes where he's a grower, and he's completely shrunken down. Now my...
What?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't think they understand what
I know what they're saying, but I think on a word-by-word basis, it doesn't make sense. But
they have flipped it, I think. Now, my understanding of dicks is it's more than just a skin tube that fills up with blood. There's other shit in there. So where does it go when it's shy and hiding? Like, does it retract in y'all's body? There's a bone there, so I don't think that's it. Help me.
Do we finally tell her about the dick pouch?
I brought this because I was like, we make fun of men a lot for not really understanding how vulvas and vaginas work. The amount of men who think that women pee from their vagina.
Like, or that you can hold in your period like a pee.
Yeah. It's so rare that we get the opportunity to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? How are you this bad at knowing how dicks work? Because there's a lot in here that, like, skin tube, I mean, I guess could be a good way to describe a penis. Right? But what do you mean, like, there's other stuff in there?
Well, there's the bone because it's a boner.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like, do you think there's a bone in the penis, or are you saying there's a bone behind the penis, so there couldn't possibly be a way for the penis to retract up into the body?
Also, it's like, have you never seen, like, a cross-section of like, hips? Because there's a lot of holes in them.
Have you seen a pelvis? It's just one big hole.
Exactly. This person is not good at things.
And also, like, can we just think for a split second about the way that the vagina works during childbirth? It gets very large. Am I like, hey, where does it go? Where does it go once it gets big? Once the baby's out, does it just stay that big? It's like, no. Things contract. Things expand. A lot of parts of our body do this.
I would love to know what age this person is. Does it say?
It doesn't, because I would also love to know. But I mean, like, I assume probably old enough to be living with a boyfriend or, like, to have their own places, because she's talking about seeing him in the shower and stuff. So I'm hoping at least like 18, 19 minimum.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a dick pouch inside you that you have to stuff in the excess when you're not aroused. It's inside your body. It comes with a pre-grown bone zip. Ugh.
Bone zip?
Yeah, it'd be insane for our bodies to produce metal to make a zipper. Or plastic, come on.
What part is getting zipped up?
Oh, you can't zip it all the way or it hurts you grievously.
We like to call it God's biggest mistake.
Yeah. It's one of them anyway.
So, okay, we're going to explain how the dick works here. And it is very simple because you were right, sort of. It's just blood. Yeah. It's just blood that engorges the tissue and makes it bigger. There's no other magic. There's no secrets. It's just blood and tissue engorging and getting larger and harder.
Mm-hmm. Basically it.
No secret magic or anything.
Also, like, why are you so upset by this? Like,
I mean, like, I understand the confusion if you really don't know, but like, how bad is sexual education nowadays that they just don't explain how erections work?
Yeah. I did just find out that the tip of the dick is called the meatus.
The meatus.
The meatus.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
No,
you know what? Damn, there are many mesuses in the body. It just means a natural body opening or canal. Damn.
Like orifice? Like, is that not?
I guess like an orifice could be like, I don't know. But yeah, it's a mesus or mesuses. So there you go.
Well, I mean, not the head of the penis, just the hole in the penis.
Yeah, the hole. Yeah, but it is at the head. I was looking at a diagram that pointed right to the top of it.
Well, now we've all learned something about a dick today.
Yeah. Damn. Meatus. It's a wonderful word.
If we ever do another booth at a con, we'll name it the Meatus and Greetus.
Damn it. Back to Fan Expo. Quick, capoeira in. You know what? Let's keep on the boners.
Okay.
This is my throwaway dream boner. My 28-year-old male girlfriend, 26-year-old female of 5 years, gets sad and withdrawn when I get an erection while I'm asleep. See the title. She's been noticing me having an erection while I sleep, accusing me of having more fun with the girls in my dreams, and generally being depressed when it happens. I haven't been having dreams about anything at all when this happens. She's woken me up twice to ask who I'm dreaming about and won't believe I'm not having a dream. What am I supposed to do here? I've tried explaining it's just a normal body thing and doesn't mean anything, but she won't buy it. It's compounded by her feeling unwanted lately. I'm tackling that by initiating more often, but she's been saying it's not enough because she thinks I'm putting it on. I'm not putting it on. I love her, and I want her. My libido just isn't the same as it was 3 years ago. I used to constantly pester her for sex, and she wouldn't want it back then, but now that seems to have flipped. We each go through phases of wanting lots of sex, but this time it's bothering her. We're only doing it 2 to 3 times a week. Any advice would be welcome. I don't want to lose her over this.
This was funny, and then it got real sad.
It's still kind of funny because, like, I've been with very irrationally jealous partners, but, like, if somebody fucking woke me up to be like, you have a boner, who are you dreaming about? That would be it for me there and then.
Like, also, how are you a 26-year-old person and not know that, like, morning wood exists, wet dreams, like, that's a thing that happens to teenagers, you know, like nocturnal emissions, like all these things. Like, it's not because we're secretly, like, mind cheating on people.
Which, even if they were, would be okay, by the way. Because you can't control your dreams, firstly. And secondly, actually take a step back and fucking calm down.
Yeah. Yeah. To be upset. I mean, there's so many jokes about, like, you know, getting mad at your partner because of what they've done in the dream. Mm-hmm. But they're jokes because it's ridiculous to do that.
That's why they're jokes. So, first off, if anyone has ever gotten jealous or annoyed about either dream boners or dreams, no, stop. Boners just happen.
Yeah, I mean, you don't understand how little control we have over these pointy, you know, hard bastards.
These meatus highways.
Do you know how much anxiety we get in high school of, like, we'll be sitting there and our fucking weird dumpy math teacher will drop a piece of chalk and your mind's just like, that's a butt. And it's like, no.
But that actually makes way more sense than just the fact that you'll be like, oh, fuck, I gotta go read out my fucking English answer in a minute. And then your dick's like, how about I stand up for no reason so that you can't stand up? Ha 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 ha. And you're like,
maybe literally why? Really hard.
Yeah. Like, that's actually not what you're for, dude.
Yeah, like there are times where, like, for whatever reason, our body likes to. It's the same way our bodies are very dumb when it comes to dicks, because it's the same thing with, like, things like erectile dysfunction of being like, I want to have sex with you so bad, my dick has decided nope.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, dicks are dumb. If you look at the anatomical diagrams where we discovered meatus, it doesn't have a brain in there, so that's how you know it's dumb.
Tell your partner to look up morning wood or any sort of science being like, yes, men will get erections for no reason during the night. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen throughout their entire life. So fucking chill on that.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of, like, the libido thing, that sucks too.
Yeah.
Being like, hey, I want to have more sex, and then being like, okay, I'll initiate more, and then being like, not like that.
Yeah. And I would love to know if, like, probably the dream and the boner thing is as a result of her feeling whatever she is, and hopefully not the other way around. that like she noticed these dream boners and that's driven her into this spiral. Either way, that issue needs to be dealt with and hopefully it'll help somewhat. But then you guys need to sit down and talk. Like you said, you tried to explain this normal body thing, she won't buy it. Okay, that sucks. If you're literally explaining something about your body that's not only a commonly known fact, but also you explaining where you're at and trying to help out, and she's just like, nope, that fucking sucks. And maybe that's not the partner for you if she's going to refuse to, deny reality. But
right, it would be like if she was when she was on her period, she was like, oh, I don't really like having sex on my period. It's not that great for me. And you being like, well, I don't think so. That doesn't sound right to me. I don't buy that one bit. Like, to make choices of what other people's bodies.
Exactly. And like, look, I don't know if you've talked about this. I hope you have. But like, literally lay down the facts. I mean, like, look, I'm sorry if you want more sex. My libido isn't the same as yours right now. And you can even be like, back when your libido wasn't the same as mine, like, hopefully you were cool. And if you were, you can be like, back then when you didn't want to have sex, I didn't get upset at you. I was chill. I understood. Again, hopefully you were. So it's like, this is the same situation, and you should be able to understand where I'm coming from. And it could very well be one of those, but you're a man. And that sucks. Because men are allowed not have sex. Men are allowed not be horny. Send her this fucking episode. We'll tell her, hey, men are allowed not want to have sex. Men are allowed not be horny.
Yeah.
But he's totally cheating on you in his dreams. No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's unfair. This can't be a one rule for her, one rule for you. No. But like, sit her down, talk to her, and be like, look, I do love you. I do want to have sex. 2 to 3 times a week is still not fucking bad. There's a lot of people who kill to be having that.
You've been to 5 years?
5 years, yeah. These things happen. So talk to her. See if there's another thing that's getting her down. Like, maybe this is all as a result of something else happening. But like, try to get to the bottom of it and try to be kind and like actually talk it out. And like, don't just kind of pussyfoot around the issue. Don't just like, don't let her be like, I don't buy it, and walk off about the fucking dream boners thing. Like, these are all things that just can't coexist with a healthy relationship. So don't let them.
Yeah. This is Positive Cato. Someone showed him the things I vented about him and us, and what do I do now? This is, English is obviously not their primary language, so I will do my best to parse where I can. My boyfriend and I have had a conflict recently. I was so hurt and miserable that I vented this concern with my friends in a group chat. Due to the anger, I said something that I shouldn't have been saying. Just today, he messaged me saying that he was disappointed in me and said that he was upset that I was so easy and so quick to tell other people about the conflict that we had. The fight, I think, is the translation there. As he continued point by point, I found out that someone in the group whom I trusted had been sharing the context that I vented, despite he is not meant to be seeing this. I apologized to him earlier that I shouldn't have been careless about my venting to my friends about us and the fight we had, because honestly, I didn't know the messages would leak out, and it just made our relationship so much worse than it originally was. What should I do now?
See, I really want to know what you said, because venting to your friends is allowed.
Yeah, there's two things that we need to know. It's like, what was the fight about? And what did you say in response to it?
Yeah, so you said something you shouldn't have said, which seems pretty cut and dry, that if you're saying you shouldn't have said it and this person's upset, they probably have a right to be upset. That's the issue there. You know what I mean? Again, I hope it's not you shouldn't have said anything about us because you're not allowed, because that's 1, shitty, 2, unrealistic, and 3, I think very like controlly abuser vibes, where it's like, you're never going to get help if you can't discuss your problems with your friends, right? Like,
but I think it's the latter, because as he continued point by point, I found out. So it sounds like they were going through the whole message, which doesn't sound like it was a one thing. It doesn't sound like she said one thing that was shitty. It sounds like he's more upset the fact that they talked about the fight with their friends, because again, it says, it's a bit wild to read, but he says, he told me that he is so disappointed in me. How can I be so easily in telling others about the things that are going on in our relationship? So it doesn't sound like she said something mean.
I'm just thrown by the fact that she said, I said one thing I shouldn't have.
Which, it could be just now remorse that she's been yelled at by.
Yeah, for sure.
And ratted out on by her friends.
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to lean towards the fact that this person, her partner, is upset that she told her friends about the fight.
Yeah.
And not that there was one specific, because like you said, if you went in and was like, he's got a small dick and I hate him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the thing is, I think we can talk about both pretty easily. You know what I mean? We don't need to have either be true, really, because again, you are allowed, vent to your friends. You're allowed to vent to your family. You're allowed to vent to pretty much anyone you want. Once again, it's not like a super personal issue, like say with his, something that they're very insecure about, such as like penis size or like a disease or like something very personal to like his family or, all those things. It's like if it's very sensitive information that you shouldn't really be sharing, like a group chat is not the fucking place for it, right? Maybe your closest friend, maybe being vague about it, but still discussing it. Either way, it's like, unless you're being shit, you are fully and utterly allowed to discuss your problems with your friends because that's what your fucking friends are for, right? So if anyone is trying to be like, oh, you're in the wrong purely because you discussed our relationship with someone, they're probably an asshole.
Yeah.
If you said something fucked up because you didn't think they were gonna read it and they found out, like, apologize. You fucked up. You were shitty. You shouldn't be doing that about your partner because presumably they're the person you love and care about the most. So it's like, be fucking wild for me to burst into a chat with my friends and be like, my partner fucking sucks. You know what I mean? That's not good. Especially like if you then make up, people are going to think you're an idiot because they're going to take what you say about your partner at face value. And then it's just going to become that annoying thing that you do and everyone hates. So don't be that person that's bad mouthing your partner every time you guys get in an argument. If they suck, break up with them. If they don't, be fucking kind.
Yeah, I think it's important to be able to talk about like the roots of the issues, how you feel about, a fight. Like if something happened and you came to me and were like, oh, hey, me and my partner had a fight, and you were like, it's about this and about that. As you said, as long as it's not a super personal something that you wouldn't normally talk about if it wasn't a fight, like, you should be able to confide in your friends. It's the whole point of having friends.
Yeah.
Now, I'm worried. My concern is that the messages weren't leaked, but rather they went through your phone.
You know what? That was going to be my ending note, because it's a common thing on Reddit in a lot of these relationship things is that if you see any notes or messages or whatever that upset you, to pretend that it's been sent to you by a friend of theirs to like further fuck them over and like dismantle their friendships as well as hurt them and like blah blah blah. It was just pretty fucked up. But I see that time and time again recommended in like a lot of relationship like subreddits. So it's very possible that they have just found them going through your phone, which again, if this is someone who's the kind of person that won't let you talk about shit to your friends, going through your phone is pretty much part of their wheelhouse, I imagine, and trying to distance you from your friends and cut you off, which they're kind of doing anyway by saying you can't discuss a relationship with them, is also kind of a whole part of it. So I wouldn't maybe believe that too much until you have proof or whatever. But like, unfortunately, this is a thing I see time and time again on Reddit. So
yeah, so that's just something to think. Maybe I don't know. Maybe try to set up like a false situation, a friend that like you think you can trust, like 100%, and have like a really bullshit conversation, and then see if they bring it up again and be like, your friend sent me this again, and then just be like, cool, all right, you're going through my phone.
Like, none of this really matters if the issue is just like, you can't talk to your friends about our relationship, because that sucks.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that. So if that's the thing, it doesn't matter if the messages got leaked right now, because you don't need to be with this person. Yeah. And then later on, you can figure out if your friend fucking sucks. Because again, if they're leaking messages to this boyfriend and you guys break up, you'll probably know who it is because they'll be dating him next week.
Yeah. All right. Good luck to them. We probably should do some Tinders.
We probably should.
At the end of the episode, we like to hop on to online dating platforms such as Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, and peruse online dating profiles, see what works, see what doesn't work, in an effort to make your online dating experience a little more enjoyable.
Well, let's start you off with Evan.
Okay.
First off, how dare you? Unvaccinated and fuck Joe Biden. Pure blood, baby. If you support murdering your child through abortion, go fuck yourself. Likes patriotism, America, red meat, fishing. Singing Guns N' Roses and David Bowie at an intolerable level. Dislikes dumb fucking liberals. Country music, women who kill their kids. Holler.
Boy, I got bad news for you, brother. David Bowie, not traditionally that conservative.
Yeah, not that smart person on the other end of this, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I was really excited because I was like, oh, we don't really get dudes a lot on the show,
Hey,
just
when we
because of
do, they fucking suck.
they're almost always terrible. They're so bad. Yeah, I mean, again, we said it I think last week, where it's just like the second anyone says pure blood, I'm out. It's a like automatic 0, and then you just dig a hole further and further and further. I'd love to know how much. How responsive people are to this, other than to like tell him to fuck off. Like, I'd love to know how many dates he's getting off this profile.
I can imagine very few, but hey, there's probably some asshole out there. This is going to be a -10 for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the score just keeps plummeting. I can't give you one because every time I try to say the number, it's like trying to say what time it is, but it's impossible because the number keeps changing. Yeah. This is Misha, you 5'9" plus. 32 to 47, 0 kids, exes, and wives. Straight, like a bodybuilder emoji, a guy with a graduation cap emoji, and then like a guy in a bow tie, which I guess job.
Are fancy.
Yeah, 100,000K base minimum. This is either dollars or pounds.
Okay, that's good.
Monogamous, serious, single, sane, clean, nice, not into apps now. App equal friends. No bullshit. No catfish. Creep. One night stand. Snowflakes. Fuckboy.
What? Not into apps?
I don't. I have. Let me tell you.
Isn't this an app?
It is. It is. Yes, it is on an app.
You better open your phone and have nothing on it, motherfucker. Because you're too tall, buff, and rich.
Me.
Oh, wait.
Tats.
Hold on. I just can't wait to know just how many things they're bringing to the table to have this insane wish list. Continue.
Me, Tats and Pierce. Tiny, ENFP/J-T, Veg, Gujarati origin, doing second postgrad online via, I think, Scotland. Uni, first was in New York. Shy, wooden spoon, not silver. And then there's a bunch of emojis. It's like a Canadian flag, a Canadian leaf, a prayer emoji, and a fingers crossed emoji. Had 0 dates. Now don't want to meet/chat. Please be cute and from Canada, US, Western or Northern Europe, Australia, New Zealand.
Wow.
ZA, which I'm not sure that is, or Russia. I'm born and from London.
So they suck and are racist?
But also, like, you want to date a Canadian, a US, Western or Northern Europe, Australia, New Zealand, whatever ZA is, and Russia. Like, what? You want to just date all over the world? But I don't know. It's just such an absolute fucking nightmare of a profile.
That's like their special way of saying white, right?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean, these people aren't white.
Just because you're not white doesn't mean you can't have fucked up views on race.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
Either way, this person fucking sucks. Dear God. Also, you can't have an ex? Like, I don't think that's what they really mean, but it's what they said.
Well, it says kids/ex/wives.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, most people have an ex at some point, especially by now, unless they're 12.
Only want 32 to 47. You want someone who's made it to 47, who, again, no shame if you haven't had a relationship. But the likelihood of finding a 47-year-old who has never had an ex, is
I
slim.
Don't know. The list sucks. The person seems to suck. The whole thing sucks. It's -8.
The app that this was on kept being like, we think this is a good fit for you. This is a good fit.
So offensive.
Have you seen this? I was like, what? No, she's not a good fit for fucking anybody.
Just your app thinks you're wildly successful.
Yeah, maybe. I'll take it.
Are you ready for Giovanna?
Mm-hmm.
I'm independent, alpha, old school single mom of 3 big kids that have a thing for men who make me feel safe.
Hold on, the kids have a thing for men?
Yeah, that's why I'm pausing, because that's some weird phrasing. That's some really weird phrasing. Oh man. This is just the beginning. Men who are naturally masculine, purpose-driven, non-judgmental, hold deep integrity, and support the feminine, spelt wrong, energy. Crown emoji. What I'm looking for. Don't worry, I'll take care of that. Made those reservations for tomorrow night. Be ready at 7. Let me get that door for you. Funny memes, heavy laughter, and food are my love languages.
I'm so confused because she's like, I want someone who makes me feel safe and like the masculine structure, but I'm going to get the door for you.
No, what I'm looking for is So she's looking for, and then there's a list, and she's looking for someone to say, "Don't worry, I'll take care of that."
Yeah, it's okay. No,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
I got
No,
it.
don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah.
It's still shit.
I was like, I thought she was saying that was like, her narrative.
Mm-hmm. That would have been a nice twist to it, but it is kind of weird that her kids want to fuck me.
Well, hey, not you. Maybe not you.
Whoa.
I don't.
I could make her feel safe.
Maybe.
Giovanna? I'm naturally masculine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a bad. I feel like we're getting to the point where women on dating profiles are starting to trend towards men. Well, men started as on dating profiles. Like, I think it's like a weird shift of just like everyone getting bad. Because I think the only people left who have the patience for dating profiles are the people who everyone in their like day-to-day life knows they suck.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I've been noticing like an influx of these women who are like, I want a hyper masculine man, and anti-vax, and it's
my
it's
fear is that we're training your apps to give you shit, because the shit are the ones you probably linger on and take screenshots on, and your phone's like, okay, he's really into this.
This is what he likes. Yeah, I know.
We need to get you a burner for Tinder.
just my secondary phone. Be like, are you a drug dealer? Oh no, I'm a sex and dating advice podcaster.
Real legit. You going?
This is Anna. It starts with their Snapchat, so I won't read it. I like riding horses, but I'll probably enjoy riding you more. Interests: weightlifting, horror, gaslighting, thrifting, anime, alcohol and weed, indie shit, art, Kanye, cyberbullying, psychology, 5'6", destroy my life, please. I want to see the Northern Lights so fucking bad. I'd say that my life is like a roller coaster, but that's mostly going downhill, so I need someone to go to the store with me at 11 p.m. because I want a snack. Love trying new things, foods, and drinks.
See, I don't love the gaslighting and cyberbullying thing. I assume it's a joke, but still. And also, destroy my life, please. Like, I don't know. It's not funny to me anymore.
Yeah, there's like a smattering of enough, like there's enough in here where I'm just like, okay, it's a serviceable profile. It doesn't really do anything for me. But then you sprinkle in like the gaslighting, cyberbullying bullshit, the destroy my life stuff. My life is going downhill. Like all that stuff.
It's all very like immature pity parade. Like it's also like, what's funny about saying you like gaslighting and cyberbullying? I don't. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm edgy. Like, I don't know. So I like the list. You know what I mean? It's like if you just kept it the list and then maybe made a joke or whatever. So I'm going to give it a 6.
That's higher than I'm giving this a 3.
Fair.
There's nothing in there that would make me want to swipe.
Yeah. This is Jessica. Hi there. It's Jessica's older sister behind this account. My sister doesn't know about the fact that I'm trying to set her up. Crying laughing face.
No.
What the fuck, Jessica's sister? Nothing about this is cute.
It's like it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so now the onus is on the dude to impress you to hopefully get a date with someone who doesn't even want or potentially want to have a date. Yeah. So it's like it's just like one big waste of time for me.
Yeah, and also it's like, this isn't cool. Like, you're using her picture and her name and putting it up, and she's not even aware of it. Like, well, if she starts dating someone and you don't know about it and they find this Bumble, or, there's a million things wrong with it, and all of it doesn't pale to the fact that I just wouldn't put the fucking effort in with you, Jessica's older sister, if that isn't even who you are, and you aren't Jessica, and this is some weird ploy. This all sucks. 0.
Because the second I ever get one of those like, oh, I'm running this account for whoever, I'm like, cool. So what's going to happen is you're going to catfish me with your hot friend, and then we're going to make a date, and I'm going to go, and you're going to be like, oh, sorry, Jessica couldn't make it, but here I am. Yeah. I'm like, nice, cool. Like, that's just what I immediately assume anytime anyone has one of these, like, running an account for this person.
It's just fucking stupid, and no one needs that, so stop.
Yeah. Online dating is grim enough for people. We don't need to... to put more fucking garbage. Thank you very much for listening. It has been an absolute pleasure. We always appreciate you guys spending the hour with us. We love having you here, and we love doing this for you.
Love you. For real. You guys are amazing. If you are interested, we have a Patreon where you can support us, which we would love because it's what keeps us going. And you know what? Being invited to like our first kind of like live event has got the juices flowing. You know, we threw out some money on some condoms, on some cards. So it's like this is what the money can go towards. And if enough people support us on Patreon, that'll hopefully mean more live events, more cool stuff we can do at them. And hey, maybe even one day go places like the Philippines or Ireland or anywhere, which would be amazing. So please swing by and support us. For less than the price of a beer a month, you can get an extra episode every month and the last 12 that we've done. And yeah, we love you guys, so thank you.
And the money potentially could go to us going to other cons, like sex shows and stuff like that, and putting up our own booth without having to be invited to another.
Yeah.
So it's just a great way to grow the show and a great way to be part of sort of like an inner circle. And as Niall said, there's now 13 episodes, bonus episodes, just waiting there for you to listen to.
We love everyone who's doing it. We love everyone who supports us in other ways. Just, you guys are the best. So please continue the support. Share us with a friend. Review us if you haven't. Join the Patreon, and thank you.
And if you have a question, please feel free to head on over to fbuddiespodcast.com. Click the contact form, fill it out. We'll get an email. You can choose your own agent name. We'll respond to you as soon as we can. Or you can head on over to our social media. Any one of them will work. All the links are on the website. Best way to get a hold of us, even if you want to just say, hey, what up?
We're very friendly, as everyone who was at Fan Expo will know.
It's true. Do you got some bad sex writing for us?
You know I do, but first I'm going to thank Josh Eagle and the Harvest Cities for their Song Paper Stars. Are you ready? This is weird bad sex writing today, because it's just, I think by now people know bad sex writing has evolved to be a bunch of stuff, such as Quora answers that aren't necessarily depicting sex. So this is a brief Tinder exchange.
Okay.
Starting with the man. I just read your bio. I'm sorry. I don't think we'd be a good match. The woman. Out of curiosity, what part made you determine that? And back to the guy. Single mother. So I'll come second to children that aren't even mine, which is totally understandable, by the way. Also, you have kids, and you're 35, so you probably don't want any more. And even if you did, it's about a 70% chance that you can't. You're also an independent woman. So your career will come before me as well. Most likely not submissive. Have the same, I don't need a man, I want a man mentality as all the other girls that let the social construct brainwash them. When girls typically say they're independent, they use it as an excuse for their bad behavior and masculine traits. I want a stay-at-home wife that's the mother to my children, who will give me stability and will stay loyal to me and is submissive, but that's impossible to find. Sorry for the rant. Modern dating is impossible for men like me, lol.
Hey, we can all hope that it remains impossible for men like you so that you never breed.
Yeah, no fucking shit, dude.
Because the more people like you who die alone, I feel like the better our world will be. We don't need you teaching children like to be like you.
Or the more people like you who get better and become positive, good people, because I'd much rather that.
Oh, 100%. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain.
And we've been your fuck buddies.